Hey, you guys ready to play Monopoly? Not regular Monopoly, though. Monopoly Global Village Pokemon Go. It's, super legit. So, I guess if you're someone who doesn't want one of the million legit versions of Monopoly out there, well, that's what Monopoly Global Village is for. There are several versions of this Monopoly Global Village out there, and none of them are legit. There's one that's just the vanilla Monopoly Global Village, which is probably how this started, and then they started slapping other properties onto them. So there's like a Marvel Heroes one, a Paw Patrol, Minions, and then Pokemon Go. Why is it Pokemon Go, you might ask? Well, because they like slapping the Go logo on Pokemon bootlegs lately. And there are a few Pokemon models it seems they stole from Pokemon Go, so at least those are stolen from the thing they're calling this. And the stolen 3D models mash so well with the stolen Pokemon artwork now, don't they? I don't know why Dawn and what's-his-name are looking so yellow on here. I guess, though, it makes at least a little sense for red to be extra red. And there is nothing more Pokemon Go than Detective Pikachu. That has so much to do with Go. Is Charizard just like sweating flame or something? I don't understand what's going on here.
My butt's on fire!
I don't even think the Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle playing Game Boy here is official artwork. I think this is stolen fan art. And the back of the box is just the instructions because they were too lazy to print up separate instruction sheets, I guess. And the board they show on the back here isn't even how the normal Global Village board looks. I think they just edited a picture of a real Monopoly board. We recommend you retain this instruction sheet for future reference. No, I'm gonna throw out the bottom of the box. It's almost like they just copied a regular Monopoly instruction sheet for most of this. The box itself is just very cheap feeling, like it's just flimsy, thin cardboard with a glossy finish on one side. And if you love that bit of cheapness, you'll absolutely love the game board, which is also just glossy, finished, thin cardboard. And just look at this crappy game board. I mean, it doesn't sit flat on its own because it is just folded cardboard, so of course that's not going to sit there nicely. You'd have to have things like weighing it down so it would sit flat. This was true on the front of the box as well, but it's more apparent on the board that Detective Pikachu does not have a bottom half of his body. And that's some real good placement here. What was done trying to like poke out one of Pikachu's eyes? I mean, the very giant Pikachu, which is that big in the background of her. And this blown up Pikachu looks pretty crappy when you look really closely at it. Weird. But look at all the Pokemon themed places you can buy in this game, like Rio de Janeiro and Mexico City. And instead of railways on here, we've got airports like Chicago Airport. It's not even O'Hare or Midway, it's just Chicago Airport. What is even like the grouping here? Like New York, Washington, and Toronto. Alright. London, Moscow, and Berlin. Paris, Madrid, and Rome. Athens, Istanbul, and Cairo. Dubai, Mumbai, and Jakarta. Sydney, Taipei, and Shanghai. And then there's Seoul and Tokyo. So here's our mess of like chance and community chest cards and properties as they sort of fall apart here. They're stack of garbage. Cool. No, to be fair, I will say that I like the little designs for the community chest and chance cards rather than just being blank like a lot of versions of Monopoly did. Though I do have a Canadian edition of Monopoly from 1961, which labeled the community chest and chance cards on the back. Now, where Global Village's community chest and chance cards absolutely fail is on the other side, because they didn't even bother recreating any of the pictures. They're all just boring text things. Do it, whatever. No fun pictures, these suck. So here's our wad of cash from Monopoly Global Village. And at first I thought I was just missing all the different amounts of money since there's a bunch of blank spaces in there, but nah, they just made the bills all white paper and printed them with different ink on there, because that was easier, I guess. And then you might be looking at these and be like, a $5,000 bill? A $1,000 bill? Are these in Monopoly? Why are these here? 200 and, there's no 20s? What is this crap? Well, you may have noticed that most things have been multiplied by 10 here, though in some cases they've just raised it a little bit more, so instead of $75 luxury tax, it's now an even 1,000. And instead of being able to choose like 10% on income tax, it's just pay $2,000. I guess they just thought that these cities and stuff should cost a bit more than roads, which I guess. Though I still don't think anyone's going to be buying any railroads for $200 or airports for $2,000. Wow, I love that even the police officer on the go to jail squares become less detailed, and it was too much effort for them to put go to above him. So with the raised prices, I guess that sort of explains these silly larger bills. Oh, and I do like that it's just houses on the counterfeit Monopoly money. Guess they don't like trains, or it was too much effort for them to put the airport in that corner. You know, they had color-coded these bills almost the same, just times 10 with the same ink color, except where it comes to 100 and their $10 bill. You know, you usually need a fair amount of 100s and 20s in Monopoly. They give you an okay amount, I guess, of the 1000s, but there's really not that many 200s, and then the thing they gave you the most of is the stupid 10s. The property cards are fine, though of course they still have absolutely nothing to do with Pokemon, and they even have a graphic on the back for in their mortgage, so that looks pretty decent. Though the properties all just being based on real-world locations instead of being Pokemon-themed, well, it is Pokemon Go, so maybe it's like, you know, you going around the world catching all the Pokemon on your phone. They definitely weren't thinking of that. Especially since every Monopoly Global Village board is exactly the same with the same places, except with a different graphic in the middle. Oh, and they might change the color around the properties and the board and stuff, so they really go out of their way. Speaking of going out of their way, here are the playing pieces for this game. Yep, just generic plastic-colored playing pieces. Not even plastic versions of the classic Monopoly playing pieces. No, that'd be too much effort. Just the super generic-looking ones. They could have even used some of those really small, stupid Pokemon bootlegs from China for playing pieces, you know, to represent the Pokemon playing pieces on official Pokemon Monopolies, but nah, that's too much effort for Global Village. Here, I suppose, is the thing they did the best job actually copying in Monopoly, the houses and hotels. Well, okay, I mean, they sort of at least look right, but they feel cheaper, and you can see, like, you know, discoloration around the corners of some of them, so even these were too much for them. It's sad when even little hollow plastic things feel that much cheaper. So I've got the bootlegs on the left here and the real ones on the right, and the houses really stand out as they're quite a bit lighter than the real ones, and the hotels are a little bit smaller than official Monopoly hotels. Oh, and even the dice kinda suck in this board game set. Here's ones from an official Monopoly game. Yep, they gave you like travel game size dice. And I don't know why the 4s and 1s are red on these dice and everything else is blue. They're probably from some other game they ripped off. So, yeah, it might surprise you that, I don't really recommend this. If you want an actual Pokemon-themed Monopoly, you should probably get an actual Pokemon-themed Monopoly and not Global Village, which just barely even tries. This really is quite the pitiful effort to replicate Monopoly. They sort of at least give you the bare essentials to play the game, but it's also cheap. Also, if you actually played a game, you'd probably run out of currency quite quick, too. They multiplied the prices of almost everything by 10 and changed the properties to cities and stuff from around the world, and Global Village probably took that idea from Monopoly World Edition. Also, if they played at least with the fact they're using the Pokemon Go logo by using the Monopoly Go for the logo, or the Pokemon Go on the Go square, that would have been something. But again, they probably didn't think about doing anything kind of funny like that, nor were they even inclined to actually theme anything besides the center of the board on the second property they're ripping off. As there are real versions of both types of Monopolies that this is ripping off, I'm not really motivated to give it that much on the weirdness rank, but it's almost too dumb to be true, so it can have 1. Most foods are packaged in stronger feeling cardboard than the one this fake Monopoly game comes in. It does look semi-legit at first glance, but it kind of falls apart upon closer inspection. Plus, there's no Hasbro or even Parker Brothers logos to be found. I do get some enjoyment out of the random Pokemon assets just thrown around the cover, but I am disappointed there isn't any silly English phrases or anything, so let me direct you to what the listing for this game said. This is brand new Monopoly board game, Pokemon Go Edition. It is the specially designed version of the classical property trading board game. Get out of jail free, free parking, collect $200 salary as you pass Go. Yep, that's pretty much the whole game there. Also, it's $2,000 when you pass Go in this game, but you didn't look at what you're actually selling, did you? And don't forget Canada and USA! Forget what about them? That they exist? Now is your chance to have more pocket money than you've ever imagined! Yeah, you know what? Adding an extra zero on the Monopoly money is my dreams come true. Starting from the Go space, travel around the board. It's unfair! Yay! It's unfair! Monopoly! Sounds fun. Ride on the railways. Wrong. Watch the fireworks. What? Try out the Dodgems and play games in the video arcade. You know, I believe they've given up and started playing some other Monopoly game. You know, the one with the Dodgems. Anyway, the box sucks and doesn't even hold its pieces very well, too. There really is no reason to ever get one of these. It's hard to avoid Monopoly on the secondhand market if you want a cheap one. 0. And the bootleg zones overall is 2. I am amused by this Monopoly Global Village for its laziness and crappiness, but it is a piece of junk, and it's a shame some people might have picked one of these up thinking that it's legit.
Oh no! Since you have had the misfortune of landing on Rio de Janeiro with a hotel on it, you owe me $20,000. All right. $5,000 bills are too easy to track. I want it all in tens. We're gonna be here a while. Oh no, it's Benny Bags. He found out we've been bootlegging Monopoly. Run!